We began our 92nd year last August with the selection of our national officers, highlighted by the unanimous election of National Commander Donald Samuels. A combat-injured veteran of the Vietnam War with a wealth of knowledge about service for injured and disabled veterans, he led us through a year of tremendous success.
Together we will continue.
Promising to carry out the great traditions of our organization, Don pledged to leave no veteran behind, providing strong leadership and uniting grassroots membership support for our important legislative initiatives. One of the first issues we faced was our concern that veteran caregivers' benefits were falling far short of needs. We found that VA payments for care at night and during weekends, which are more costly than care during regular working hours, had been overlooked. Our testimony at a House VA subcommittee proved the catalyst for a more thoughtful distribution of support for caregivers and better care for our most severely injured and ill veterans. DAV's leadership role helped stall plans by the Department of Defense to redirect funding away from the U.S.-Russia Joint Commission on POW and MIAs. The proposed move would have crippled the global mission to recover and identify our missing service members. On Capitol Hill, our grassroots efforts led to the enactment of the Veterans Opportunity to Work Act. This $1.5 billion measure provides retraining for veterans aged 35 to 60 who have been out of work for at least 26 weeks. It improves transition assistance, job placement, and professional licensing and certification for veterans seeking jobs related to their military service specialties. DAV's leadership in support of the bill was recognized with an invitation for Washington Headquarters Executive Director Barry Jesenowski to witness the signing of the law by President Obama. DAV acted quickly last year when a Pew Research Center found veterans could face budget cuts, just as more than half of all returning Iraq and Afghanistan war veterans would come to need care and benefits. We have urged Congress and the administration to give unfailing and unflinching support to these veterans. Our structured and continuing training program last year was again accredited by the American Council on Education as the best training program for national service officers. DAV is the only veteran service organization in the nation that has such a program and that distinction. Our NSOs receive as many as 10 college credit hours for successfully completing the course, and it keeps our NSOs up to date on modern medical improvements, technology, and rulemaking to provide the best service for injured and ill veterans. Veterans making claims for their earned benefits encountered a logjam of delays at the VA with little resolution available. DAV, working closely with VA, used our expertise to help deploy new programs to help veterans navigate the stormy sea of stalled claims. We also turned back a VA proposed initiative to make Board of Veterans' Appeals video hearings mandatory and to abandon the option of face-to-face field hearings. DAV strongly believes that veterans should have the option of choosing the type of hearing that best suits their needs. DAV's Charitable Service Trust support of homeless veteran facilities is helping a number of veterans living on the streets of our nation. Only a decade ago, the number of homeless veterans exceeded 250,000. Our trust support of these agencies is helping the VA reach its goal of ending the tragedy of homeless veterans in our nation by 2015. When disaster struck earlier this year, DAV was on the scene to help injured and ill veterans who suffered the most. As tornadoes struck across the Midwest, our NSOs were quickly dispatched to render disaster aid. The worst-hit area was Kentucky, and DAV volunteers were among the first to arrive and offer help. Our outreach programs took on a new look this year as DAV began a partnership with the USA Warriors ice hockey team. Through this program, which is supported by the Charitable Service Trust, many of our nation's heroes are taking to the ice to prove their abilities as athletes despite the challenges they face as a result of their service. Our partnership with Golden Corral Restaurants on Military Appreciation Monday last November again topped the $1 million mark in public donations to DAV chapters and departments. This remarkably successful program shows the public's respect, gratitude, and admiration for our nation's veterans. DAV has been at the forefront of efforts to partner with institutions of higher learning. On Veterans Day last year, we took part in a VA benefits seminar and community support symposium at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. DAV provided information to veterans about how to access their earned benefits. This is the type of one-stop service needed by veterans and their families. Our 2012 Midwinter Conference gave National Commander Samuels the opportunity to present DAV's most important legislative goals to members of the House and Senate Veterans Affairs Committees. His powerful presentation stressed the need for adequate funding in medical care and research, as well as overhauling the claims process. Commander Samuels also criticized budget gimmicks labeled as management efficiencies, which may have taken $1 billion from VA healthcare. We are concerned that medical services were being withheld from veterans or reduced with unreasonable wait lists for care. He was strongly supported by hundreds of our leaders there who added their voice to push forward our legislative agenda. Commander Samuels again represented our organization at the National Disabled Veterans Winter Sports Clinic this spring. He joined nearly 400 other disabled veterans and service members to test their skills at sports like skiing, scuba diving, hockey, rock climbing, and trap shooting. It was Commander Samuels' first time at the Winter Sports Clinic, and he hit the slopes in a sit-ski to experience the adventure. DAV released a new television public service announcement campaign this spring, featuring some of our own DAV members. The two spots, entitled Remember Me and The Pledge, have garnered more than 125 million viewings and are on track to become DAV's most successful public service television campaign ever, representing more than $1.7 million in free advertising. 2 years ago, when we celebrated our 90th anniversary, we discussed our needs to evolve and grow to meet the challenges of a new century. While we remain held in high public regard and respect, we all recognize the crucial need for DAV to engage our members and the public while emphasizing that our organization is one of service and advocacy. This year, we continued work on evolving our organization for the 21st century. We all recognize the need for DAV's outreach and public image to match the level and extent to which we are committed to changing the lives of veterans and their families. We are making some real outstanding changes in the way that we present ourselves to the American people. Most notably, with the approval of the National Executive Committee, DAV has adopted a new logo and a new slogan. For nearly a century, DAV has been committed to fulfilling our promises to the men and women who serve. Our focus on service, which is the defining characteristic of our organization, will take on a greater prominence. We're evolving in how we communicate our message of hope. We're as relevant and new as we are timeless in our mission and purpose. Based on feedback we've received from our members, donors, and voters, we're ready to take a bold new step toward a new century of service and advocacy.